First down inside the 40. Oh, goes over the top.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Honest About the Irish. So this past Saturday, Notre Dame took out Virginia by the final score of 28-3. Of course, the story of the game was that Virginia was missing its quarterback, Brennan Armstrong, with a rib injury. He came out for about 10 minutes, tried it out, didn't look really comfortable, so sat out the game, and it made a difference for Virginia, a team that was averaging over 550 yards per game, one of the most explosive offense in terms of yards gained in the country. The last three games up until this Notre Dame game, they had scored over 45 points. So they had a very highly explosive offense with Brennan in there as quarterback. Their backup, Jay Wolflock, took over. Looked a little confused. Looked like he had a little deer in the headlights. Got sacked 7 times. Made some mistakes, but he is a great athlete, though. He's a quarterback of the future there for Virginia, they were saying. He's actually a pretty good baseball player for the baseball team at Virginia. He throws over 92 miles an hour fastball. So he has a decent arm, but Notre Dame's defense suffocated him with 7 sacks. The story on defense was Bo Bauer, 1.5 sacks, 4 tackles. See, this was the thing about Notre Dame the last 3 games, that these players who've been getting injured, players who've been sitting out, like Hamilton or Avery Davis or Drew White with the illness, Bo Bauer was able to come in and make a difference. They were plugging different players. A lot of this has been going on since the Virginia Tech game, since the USC game. Notre Dame has found ways to win. I just noticed that, like I've said 100 times already on this channel, since the SC game, since their bye week, something has changed. They made some adjustments. The offensive line is getting better. The defense is getting a little better today, and the Navy game. They haven't allowed a touchdown in 8 quarters. Of course, they only allowed 2 field goals by Navy last weekend. And then, of course, this past weekend against Virginia, they only allowed a field goal. So a total of 9 points scored on Notre Dame's defense in the last 8 quarters. And that's something that you want to look forward to in the defense. Team getting better, 2 games to go, heading to the bowl game, whoever they play. Maybe they'll get some of these players back. Maybe Hamilton will come back. I don't know what the status is about his long-term injury, but it's still like a month and a half away until to that bowl game. So Notre Dame has a long-term goal here to get some of these players back and be productive for a big bowl game if they go out and possibly go 11-1. I've argued about this, that they're not going to go to the college football playoff. I don't think they'll get in at number 4. I think they'll possibly maybe go to a Peach Bowl or a Fiesta Bowl. There was actually some blog out there I saw on Facebook that they're projected to play Wake Forest in the Peach Bowl, which would, to me, would be kind of cool. So let's just see what happens in the next 2 games, what Notre Dame can do, and hopefully they do go 11-1. Jack Cohen, 15 for 20, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. He threw that ill-advised, terrible throw right to the defender of Virginia. That was just a terrible interception. It's only his 5th interception of the year. It seems like he's had more than that. In this game, it seemed like he had more yards of passing. It seemed like he had over 200 yards of passing. That's just, there was a lot of mixture of running and passing in this game. Notre Dame looked very productive on offense. Now, I know Virginia can't stop anybody. They have one of the worst run defenses in the country. But like I said, the offensive line, especially the offensive line, continues to get better. Kyron Williams, he continues to run the ball very well. Logan Diggs with that jump you saw in the beginning of this video, a very athletic jump. You're seeing more and more of that in college football. It happened to Notre Dame last year. Alabama did it to a Notre Dame defender last year. So it's about time Notre Dame does it to someone else. So it was nice to see that. I like Logan Diggs. I think he's going to be a great player there. Very athletic, has a lot of speed coming out of the line there, a lot of burst. So, a lot of weapons that Notre Dame has on freshmen this year. And, Michael Mayer with 7 receptions, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, Austin Jr., my favorite, 3 receptions, 38 yards, and a touchdown as well. And then, of course, Lindsey with 3 receptions and 23 yards and a touchdown as well. Now, Bo Brennan had a hell of a game, like I said earlier, 4 tackles, 1.5 sacks. I mean, Notre Dame sacked the quarterback 7 times. A lot of that was on the Woolfolk's decision to hold the ball and step back, kind of like what Jack Cohen was doing at the beginning of the year. When he was getting sacked, he would just step back and look around, and the offensive line in front of him would collapse. And that was part of it, but also the part of it is that Notre Dame, it seemed like they figured something out on defense since the Navy game, so hopefully this continues as a trend as well. And that led to a Notre Dame 28-3 victory. I feel like Notre Dame should have scored more points. You know, it feels like it could have been a 56-3 game or a 49-3 game. A lot of people think I'm crazy when it comes to leading more points on the score or putting more points on the scoreboard. But I'm going to explain something to you that really annoyed me about this game in the first half, right before halftime. Woolfolk threw an interception. Notre Dame would have had decent field position. There was about 1 minute and 17 seconds left. Notre Dame had 2 timeouts. Notre Dame could not be stopped by Virginia. Okay, so what does Brian Kelly, Tommy Rees decide to do? They decide to run the ball, go take a knee, run the clock out, go into halftime being up 21-0. Now, the reason why I have a problem with this is that I like the killer instinct. You're up 21-0. You want to put this team out of their misery. You know, Virginia came back after, not in the game, but they came back after halftime, a little bit more aggressive on offense, went down the field, had some big chunk plays, but unfortunately with sacks and turnovers and miscues and penalties, they shot themselves in the foot. That's why you want to score as many points as you can, I should say, in the first half. Notre Dame had plenty of time. Notre Dame couldn't be stopped. They had 2 timeouts left. Notre Dame could have made this a 28-0 lead at halftime and definitely put this game out of doubt for Virginia. And but no, Brian Kelly and Tommy Rees. I'm just gonna say Brian Kelly. I know Tommy Rees plays the calls out there, does the play calling on offense, but Brian Kelly is the head coach. Brian Kelly just doesn't sit there like this and not do anything. Okay, there's a reason why he's a head coach. All right, so. Yeah, that is annoying. And you know, I was texting in a group with my family, and they're saying you're crazy. There could be a turnover, blah, blah, blah. See, these live in fear. There we go again, living in fear. You know, oh, we could turn the ball over, and then, you know, it could be 21-7 in the halftime. That gives Virginia momentum, and then they get the ball after halftime. Listen, Virginia wasn't going to stop Notre Dame. Okay, we saw this. And it would have been much better being up 28-0 than 21-0 at halftime. Like in baseball, if you're up 3-0 and it's the bottom of the 7th inning and the bases are loaded and you know there's going to be a pitch over the middle, okay, or away, and you know your pitch is coming your way eventually, are you not going to hit the grand slam? Well, we're already up 3-0. We might as well not add on more. I mean, that logic is throw it out the window. I don't like it. You score as many points as you can. I don't care if it makes your coach look like a jerk. You score a touchdown or a field goal. Okay, like, and if a coach were to do that in baseball, when I went back to that baseball analogy with being up 3-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning and you're the bases loaded, of course you're going to try to hit the grand slam. And I don't want to hear, well, Vernon, you know, B-man, it's a different sport. No, you score as many points as you can. If you're up 15-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning and you're the bases loaded, what are you going to do? Are you going to strike out on purpose? No, you score as many points as you can. So Brian Kelly, Tommy Rees, you should have scored another touchdown. You were in decent field position. They couldn't stop you, Virginia, that is, and you possibly could have been up 24 or 28-0 at halftime and won this game 35-3. Like I said, this game should have been a 49 or 56-0 kind of win, but Notre Dame doesn't play by that style. They don't blow teams out like that. And I would love to see a 56-3 kind of win. And I don't know what the problem is with that. Why is everybody so nice? I don't get it. Why is everybody so nice? You know what? We should be respectful. We don't want to hurt Virginia's feelings. No, you blow them out. Okay? Not this. Sports. It's not good sportsmanship to be up 21 or 28-0 at halftime when you ran the score up before the second half. What are you talking about running the score up the second half? You try to score as many points as you can. That's the only thing I had. And Brian Kelly has done this in the past. They're up like 24-0 or up by 17 points. No, you keep on going until that clock runs out. And it happens to Notre Dame, then Notre Dame should have stopped them. Okay? If this would have happened to Notre Dame. So this would have been on Virginia. You should have stopped Notre Dame from scoring the extra touchdown if Notre Dame would have been more aggressive and used their timeouts and wanted to score. So you put that on the defense. Because you couldn't stop Notre Dame in the first half, and this game should have been close to 60 points scored by Notre Dame. But it wasn't. But that is my rant, folks. That is it for today. Never, ever feel sorry for the team you're playing against. You score as many points as you can and keep on swinging when you're in baseball in the bottom of the 7th inning when you're up 3-0 with the bases loaded. That's my lesson today. Don't be, Mr. Respectable because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you learned a lesson from B-Man. And Notre Dame will take on Georgia Tech this weekend. The game is at 1:30 Central on NBC, Notre Dame's last home game. So you'll hear from me shortly after that game, or a couple days later, I should say. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, go Irish.